Good day everyone. I will briefly introduce our team and explain what each member worked on. One member focused on coding the player, calculation, and creating most of the pixel art, including the characters and environment, which is me, Jamaica Prado. And our second member handled the key handling system, making sure player inputs work correctly. And our third member is our team leader, worked on the world transitions and made sure different maps connected smoothly. And another member, which is our fourth member, focuses on entity inheritance, helping organize player behaviors and properties in the game. And lastly, the one member handles the game state control, managing menus and gameplay. And that's it.
I'm going to be talking about the entity inheritance. So, entity inheritance is a concept in object oriented design where one entity called the child entity inherits the attributes and behaviors of another entity called the parent entity. This means that common properties such as names, identifiers, or basic functions are defined once in the parent entity and it is automatically shared with all related child entities. By doing this, developers avoid repeating the same code or data structure across multiple entities. So, in systems and game development, entity inheritance is useful because many objects share similar characteristics. Like, for example, a player, an enemy, and a non player character may all have a health, a name, and a position in the game world. So instead of these properties separately, or instead of defining these properties separately for each entity, they are placed in a single parent entity and the specific entities inherit them while adding their own unique behaviors. This makes the system easier to manage and extend. It also improves the maintainability. When a change is made to the parent entity, such as modifying how health is handled, the change automatically applies to all child entities. This reduces errors and ensures consistency across the system. Like this is why structured code bases like our game, it relies on entity inheritance to keep our code clean, organized, and scalable. Thank you.
Game state control. Game state control is a system used to manage what the player can do at different moments in the game. It helps the game respond properly to what is currently happening by switching different states, such as play state and dialogue state. These states determine whether the player is allowed to move, interact with objects, or perform certain actions. When the game is in play state, the player has full control of their character, meaning they can move freely, explore the environment, and interact with other elements in the game. However, when the conversation or important interaction begins, the game switches to dialogue state. In this state, player movement is temporarily disabled so the player cannot walk away or interrupt the scene. This system prevents unwanted actions while dialogue is active and ensures that the player stays focused on the conversation. Overall, game state control helps make the gameplay more organized, smooth, and user-friendly by clearly controlling what the player can and cannot do at each moment.
So for my part, we're gonna talk about the key input handling in our project. So I implemented the character's movements controls using the keys W, A, S, and D for moving in each direction. Um, I additionally added the letter K key for sprinting, which allows the character to move faster. and the enter key is used to start the game. Each key is assigned to its own Boolean variable. Um, when I press a key handling method in Java changes the corresponding Boolean to true and updates the direction string. For example, setting the direction to up when the letter W is pressed. When I release the key, another method sets the boolean back to false, stopping the movement. This system lets me easily detect which keys are being held and whether the character should walk or sprint, making the control smooth and responsive.
Next is I will explain the map transition system used in our game. So the game uses special tiles in the map which is called teleport tiles to move the player from one map to another. So these tiles are different from normal tiles because instead of blocking movement, they trigger a map change. When the player steps on a teleport tile, the system automatically updates the current map of the game. So this allows the player to transition smoothly from one area such as the overworld to another map such as caves or dungeons. After the map changes, the player is also repositioned to a specific target location on the new map. So this ensures that the player appears at the correct entrance or spawn point instead of a random location when entering caves or dungeons. Overall, the system makes map navigation seamless and helps connect different areas of the game world logically.
This project, I implemented the character collision system. Invisible collision boxes are placed inside the tiles, and the player also has its own collision box as well, which is smaller than a 16 by 16, which is the character size. When the player moves, the collision checker determines the direction and checks the next tile through the tile manager. Each tile has a collision boolean value. If it is true, the tile is considered solid. If the player collision box is about to overlap with a solid tile, the movement is stopped to prevent the character from passing through or overlapping objects. This design was chosen because making the entire character sprite the collision box would make it difficult for the character to move between blocks or enter tight spaces. So far, we have made good progress on our game. We already completed the main game map and added transitions so the player can move between different areas smoothly. For the visual side of the game, we created all of our own pixel art, including the characters and the environment, which help us customize the overlook and style of the game. We have also implemented the basic player movement and character collision. We learn how to do this by watching tutorials and then applying what we learned to our own project. This is one important step because it allows the player to interact properly with the game world and prevents them from moving through objects. At this stage, most of the visual elements and basic controls are working as planned. However, there are still some core gameplay features that are not finished yet. These include the mining system and upgrade or shop system, which are important for players' progression. We are currently working on understanding how to implement these mechanics and plan to add them in the next stage of development. That's all for this presentation. Thank you.